All right, so I'm all set up here. I've got my vampire blood and I've got my wood block. This is going to simulate impact. So remember, impact spatter is caused by force applied to exposed blood. So there has to be blood available to get an impact spatter pattern. And I'm going to simulate what it would look like if it were low to the ground and the spatter just projects out across the carpet. Okay, so there's one, and it's really hard to interpret spatter patterns on carpet, but you can tell it's a spatter pattern. Like drip stains and some other patterns, it's really hard to tell, but spatter is pretty obvious. And then of course you want to take into consideration scene context, like if there's weapons or obviously a victim there. That all kind of substantiates your claims that it's a spatter pattern. So I'm just doing multiple spatters. This would be consistent with multiple impacts. And normally if there's some kind of an assault, the person is not going to stay stationary. So whenever I make these kind of patterns, I like to just move around a little bit as if the source or the victim were moving around during the impact event. So I'm just trying different areas. You can tell that it's obviously radiating out across the carpet, but like doing any form of calculation on this, it's not going to work, because to do the calculations you have to have nice, good elliptical shaped blood stains, and you just don't get that on carpet surfaces. Usually you would do that with like tile or like laminate, other surfaces. So I'm just going to kind of make a mess here in the middle. This is where you would expect that victim would be at. Obviously they're moving around a little bit. So this is kind of what you would see if you get an impact spatter pattern. You see, obviously where that victim was. You've got saturation into the carpet. So whenever you're making these patterns, just try to think about, what would that victim be doing and what you might see at a scene. So with bloodstain pattern analysis, the way you're able to analyze these patterns is because you've created them before. Most of the classes that you take, you're going to be actually making impact spatter patterns. You're going to be making drip stains. And so when you go to interpret them, you can say, I've seen these patterns before, and what I'm seeing is consistent with what I've created myself. So this is an example of an impact spatter pattern with some saturation on a carpet surface.